imagine, if you will, a world where 451 degrees Fahrenheit.
Hmm.
Well, it isn't just the temperature paper burns at. It's more like the operating temperature of the whole society.
Yeah, a world where firemen, they don't put fires out.
No, they start them. Their whole job is destruction.
It's wild.
And today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, the beginning chapters of Ray Bradbury's classic Fahrenheit 451. We're working from this really interesting Russian audiobook transcript, actually, which gives such a vivid feel for this dystopia.
It really does. And this isn't just, a story. It digs deep into society, knowledge. What happens when one person starts to wake up?
Right. So our mission for you today is to really unpack this world Bradbury builds right at the start. We'll get into our main guy, Guy Montag, see how he's introduced. It's pretty startling.
And we'll watch for those first tiny sparks, the beginnings of his change. We want to explore how this, frankly, chilling society works, what it values or doesn't value.
And what happens when someone, just one person, starts to question things, the very fabric of their reality.
Yeah. Get ready to understand the foundations of a world that's all about manufactured happiness and, well, the desperate need for actual thought.
And wow, what an introduction to this world. We meet Guy Montag, he's the fireman in this place, and his job description, like we said, not saving things, burning things.
Specifically books.
Specifically books, but what hits you right away, and I think Bradbury really wants us to get this, is the pleasure Montag takes in it. It's unsettling.
It's more than unsettling. It's key to understanding him at first.
Yeah.
And the society, it flips heroism completely on its head, right?
Yeah.
Destroying knowledge becomes, satisfying.
Yeah, a source of weird satisfaction.
That enjoyment, it's really visceral. You get the symbolism right away, the 451 on his helmet.
Right.
And the text even says there's an orange flame kind of burning in his own eyes, like he's anticipating the destruction.
Oh, yeah.
And the imagery Bradbury uses, it's so strong. The hose isn't just a hose, it's a giant python spitting poisonous kerosene onto the world. I mean, that immediately tells you this isn't your friendly neighborhood firefighter.
No kidding. And he doesn't just, do the job. He performs it. He sees himself as this astonishing conductor.
Yeah, conducting symphony.
Managing all the symphonies of ignition and incineration. Like he's an artist, turning history into charred ruins.
There's this weird grandeur he gives it.
But then Bradbury just throws in these little details that make your skin crawl. Like Montag wants to poke a marshmallow stick into the fire.
Oh, yeah.
While books flapping like blue-winged pigeons died on the porch and on the lawn.
Ugh. That mix of huge systematic destruction and this casual, almost childish impulse.
It's deeply unsettling. It really shows you the psychological conditioning going on there.
And that satisfaction, it's not just, at the fire scene. The transcript talks about his hard grin when he's done and this ritual back at the station, wanting to look in the mirror and wink at himself.
Like he aced a performance.
Exactly. Like a comedian with a face painted like a Negro, like a burnt crust. It's a disturbing image of self-affirmation.
It really is.
Even his routine at home gets pulled into it. Polishing the yellow glowing helmet, hanging up the fireproof jacket, taking a shower with pleasure, whistling down the brass pole.
It's all just part of the day, normalized.
Completely normalized, seamlessly part of everyday life. And that normalization, I think, is what's truly chilling. It shows how deep this destructive job is embedded in the society.
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? What kind of society not only accepts this role, but, celebrates it, where destroying knowledge is fine, even good?
It sets up the whole psychological state of everyone. And Montag, at the start, he's the perfect product.
The ideal citizen. But then he's heading home, whistling, seems totally content, and something happens. Something shifts.
Yeah, this encounter, the first real disruption. He meets Clarice McClellan,
his new neighbor.
And this is really where that carefully built facade of Montag's happiness just starts to crack.
Yeah.
And Bradbury sets it up so well. Even before Montag actually sees her, the transcript mentions this vague, anxious feeling.
Right, like something's in the air.
Yeah, as if a sudden headwind had risen out of nowhere, or someone had called his name. There's this weird silence around the corner, as if someone was waiting.
So it feels almost fated, not just random.
Exactly. Like his subconscious already knows something big is about to happen, a disruption is coming.
And Clarice herself, when she appears, she's immediately different from everything else in his world.
Totally. Ethereal. Insightful. The description says she seems to float above the sidewalk.
Wow.
Her face is thin, milky white, with a soft, even glow, not that hysterical electric light everywhere else.
So Soudham and natural versus artificial.
Right. And her dark eyes have this intense curiosity, like not even the slightest gesture could escape them. She's instantly set apart from the loud, fast, distracted world Montag lives in. Like a ghost from another time.
A healthier time, yeah.
And her first comment to him, it's so perceptive, it immediately challenges his reality. She talks about the kerosene smell on him.
My wife always complains.
Right. No matter how much you wash, it never quite goes away. It's like perfume, really.
Calling the smell of destruction perfume.
It makes it part of him, doesn't it? His defining scent. And then she just defines herself so simply, almost playfully. I'm 17 and I'm crazy.
Which is basically her saying, I'm not like everyone else.
Exactly. She owns her nonconformity right from the start.
And her behavior backs it up. Her nighttime walks.
Yeah, just walking around, watching the world, inhaling its smells, sometimes staying out until morning to meet the sunrise.
The things nobody else does.
Right. It shows this connection to the real world, a thoughtful nature that's just absent in everyone else he knows.
And then there's that dandelion test.
Ah, the dandelion test for love. If a mark remains, it means I'm in love.
And for Montag?
Nothing. No yellow mark on his chin. It's such a simple visual way to show his emotional emptiness.
And it bugs him. It really irritates him, which shows, again, that gap between how he thinks he feels and reality.
It's a tiny detail, but it's packed with meaning, right? And her questions, they seem so innocent, but they hit hard because they undermine everything he's been taught.
Like asking if firemen used to put out fires.
Yeah. Questioning the whole foundation of his job, hinting at a past he's totally ignorant of, and she asks why he laughs so quickly without thinking.
Pointing out how programmed his reactions are.
Totally. Then she talks about how society just rushes past reality. Drivers going so fast they can't tell grass or flowers apart.
A green blur is grass, a pink blur is roses.
Exactly. And needing 200-foot billboards because cars are moving at insane speeds. Everything is too fast, too superficial.
That detail about not being able to see flowers, that really got me. It says so much about valuing speed over actual experience, doesn't it?
It really does. It's a perfect symbol for the whole society. And she finishes with that comment about people never looking up at the man in the moon.
Lost connection to wonder, to simple curiosity.
And then the killer question, the one that changes everything for Montag.
Are you happy?
She just drops it right before vanishing, leaving him completely unsettled. It forces him to actually think about it.
It's such a quiet rebellion from her, but the impact, huge. It sets him on this completely different path.
Clarissa's awareness, her questions, they just rip open the hollowness of Montag's world. Her character makes you think about the dangers when society pushes speed and surface-level stuff over real experience, real thought.
What happens when being curious makes you crazy?
Right. Clarissa's that first spark. And Montag's reaction, how disturbed he is, shows that maybe that fire he spreads hasn't completely burned out his ability to question things. She's the spanner in the works.
What a question to be left hanging with, especially when he gets home to what's supposed to be his safe place.
But it's not safe, is it? He finds his wife, Mildred, basically catatonic, overdosed on sleeping pills.
And the way they treat her, it's just so impersonal. It reveals this whole other dark layer to their society.
The contrast is just brutal. Clarice, so alive and questioning, and then Mildred, inert, disconnected.
He even thinks of his house as a cold marble hall of a mausoleum when he walks in. That says it all about the emotional vibe there.
Yeah, total emptiness. And Mildred herself, cold, uncovered, like a corpse on a tombstone, eyes fixed on the ceiling. It's a really haunting image.
And she's constantly plugged in, right? The technology addiction.
Always. Those little shells, the tiny thimble radio receivers in her ears. She's drowning in this electronic ocean of sounds, music conversations.
Never quiet, never just with her own thoughts.
Completely cut off.
Yeah.
Which makes the discovery of the empty sleeping pill bottle, this small crystal vial, capped.
Even starker. It's her escape attempt from that constant noise, maybe. Just wanting silence.
But the way they handle it is the truly disturbing part, the emergency services.
Oh, yeah. These two men, described just as handymen, not doctors, not paramedics, handymen.
They bring this machine of theirs. It's all about the machine, not the person.
Detached efficiency, no empathy. And the description of the machine itself, the Cobra, plunging into the depths of an echoing well, looking for stagnant water in a dark past, sucking out green sludge.
It's grotesque, like they're just pumping her stomach, but the language makes it sound like they're purging her soul or something. Dehumanizing.
Totally dehumanizing. Reducing a suicide attempt to, like, a plumbing issue.
And their reaction when Montag is horrified, just bored.
Completely desensitized. We get 9 or 10 of these calls a night. It's been going on for years. Special machines had to be constructed.
9 or 10 a night, that's epidemic level.
It's staggering. And they explain the blood transfusion so pragmatically. Clean the blood or it will hit the brain, and the brain gives up. Just mechanics, no humanity.
And they leave behind this briefcase with liquid melancholy and viscous dark slime with no name. The physical remnants of her despair.
This whole scene, the fact these calls are so common, it just exposes the terrible cost of this life focused on shallow entertainment. It hits on information overload, emotional numbness.
How technology can connect us in one way, but totally isolate us from ourselves.
Exactly. And for Montag, the end result of all this, especially after meeting Clarisse, is this huge realization.
The mask slips.
Yeah. No, he tells himself, I am unhappy, unhappy. This was true, and he had to admit it. He wore his happiness like a mask, but the girl had snatched it and carried it away.
Wow, that's the turning point.
It's massive. It shows the grim reality under the surface, beyond the flashy fire shows.
Yeah.
What does it say about a society when attempted suicide is just routine? Handled by technicians, it points to a deep, deep crisis of meaning.
That realization, I am unhappy, that's huge. It's the first major crack in his whole identity. And it's just the beginning of him coming undone, really.
And what makes it even worse, what really ramps up his anxiety, is the mechanical hound.
Oh, the hound, yeah.
It's not just a robot, is it?
Yeah.
It feels almost predatory, and it seems specifically focused on him. A shadow of suspicion.
It's definitely more than just surveillance tech. It's this terrifying symbol of state control, the physical threat hanging over anyone who steps out of line.
And the way it's described is so unsettling. Sleeping and not sleeping. Living and not living.
Like it's in between states. Neither machine nor animal, but something worse.
Yeah, this softly humming, slightly vibrating, dimly lit hive. That ambiguity makes it even creepier. It's a blend of life and machine, built purely to hunt.
And its look, kind of insectoid, like
Yeah.
a huge bee.
Right, with ruby glass eyes and these sensitive capillary hairs and its nostrils resting on rubber pads. But what it does, that's where the real horror lies.
The games the firemen play.
Yeah, releasing rats, chickens, cats for the hound to hunt in the basement. It's presented as entertainment, but it just shows their casual cruelty, their total lack of empathy.
Turning killing into a spectator sport.
And the detail about the hollow needle and its trunk, injecting liquid anesthetic before tossing the victim into an incinerator. It's just cold, calculated horror.
And Montag, he didn't participate in those games, right? Even before all this started.
Right, the transcript mentions he avoided them, which is significant. It suggests he already had this underlying aversion to that kind of violence, even before Clarisse. He was already different somehow.
But the hound's reaction to him specifically, that's new. That's what sparks his paranoia.
Definitely. That low growl, the way it rises up, stares with those suddenly lit lamps for eyes, making that horrible sound. Electric hiss, crackling oil, grinding metal.
All directed at him?
It feels personal. Like the machine knows he's starting to think differently, starting to dissent.
And he asks Speedy about it, right? It doesn't like me.
He does. And Beatty just brushes it off. It's not capable of that. It just functions. It's just copper wire, batteries, and electricity.
Total denial. But Montag sees through it.
Yeah, with his new awareness, he figures it out. The hound's sensors, its calculators, can be programmed for specific amino acids.
Meaning someone could target him specifically.
It's exactly. It's not difficult for someone to enter a partial combination into the hound's memory so that it reacts to certain amino acids that make up a human body. He realizes he's being targeted. Maybe by Beatty, maybe someone else at the station. It's not random, it's deliberate threat.
That constant feeling of being watched, being hunted by this faceless machine, the psychological pressure must be immense.
It is. And it dehumanizes everyone involved, the victim and the state, using the tool. When the tools of control seem to develop their own, like, prey instinct, it really isolates Montag, pushes him further away.
Makes you wonder what happens when technology itself feels like it's turned against you, hunting you for just thinking.
And in that isolation, that fear, Clarisse's influence becomes even more important. She was this brief beacon of authenticity.
Her gentle rebellion.
And then her disappearance. It just leaves this huge void for Montag, makes his confusion even worse.
She was like a lifeline he didn't know he needed.
Truly, a pure individual in a world demanding conformity. For those 7 days, she kept meeting him, leaving those little gifts.
The flowers, the chestnuts, the leaves.
Yeah, these simple human gestures that are just so out of place in their world, almost subversive in their genuineness.
And she tells him she likes him, right? Because she doesn't want anything from him.
I feel like I've known you for many, many years because I like you and I don't want anything from you. It highlights how rare that kind of selfless connection is there. So different from the superficiality all around him.
And she keeps asking those uncomfortable questions, peeling back the layers.
Like about children. If you like children so much, why don't you have any? Which forces Montag to face the emptiness with Mildred, who basically finds the idea appalling.
Prefers her TV family.
Right. But it's Clarissa's critique of society that really drives home the point. Pointing out the crazy driving speeds, her uncle getting arrested for driving slowly.
Jailed for going 40 miles an hour.
It shows how enforced the pace of life is. And the giant billboards needed because no one can focus.
Her observations are so simple, but they cut so deep. Her not caring about the parlor walls or the fun parks.
Preferring thought, conversation, she calls herself antisocial because of it.
Which is chilling, right? Their definition of social is just noise and distraction.
Exactly. And she's scared of her peers, mentions friends getting shot, dying in car crashes, laments that people don't have time for each other.
When they do talk, it's about nothing. Cars, clothes, pools. Everyone says the same thing.
She craves depth, contrasts the meaningless abstract art with older paintings that actually told stories. It's a powerful indictment of a culture that's lost its narrative, lost its meaning.
Replacing it with just sensation, and always that question hanging over Montag.
Are you happy?
It keeps coming back, acting like that catalyst, forcing him to admit the truth he'd buried. It's the crack in the dam.
Her quiet rebellion, her noticing things.
Yeah.
It just lays bare the emptiness of Montag's world. Makes you think about our own world, right? Attention spans, shallow engagement. Absolutely. Her character highlights the value of slowing down, observing, really talking to each other. And then her sudden disappearance. Clarisse was gone. It underscores how fragile dissent is, how quickly it gets snuffed out.
Leaving Montag with this deep sense of loss, anxiety, and the feeling something vital was just erased.
Yeah. She lit the first spark of doubt, but the next big event, that's the real inferno for his conscience.
The old woman. The one who chooses to burn with her books.
That scene is the ultimate catalyst. It forces Montag to confront the reality of his job in a way he never has before.
It's not just burning paper anymore.
Not at all. The firemen bust in, business as usual, grab the woman.
Yeah.
But she's not moving, only swaying.
Right.
She's waiting for them.
She chose this.
Her defiance is chilling. You know where they are, otherwise you wouldn't be here. She's making it clear she stayed willingly. Conscious sacrifice.
And then she quotes that line to Beatty.
Be a man, Master Ridley. By God's grace, we shall this day light such a candle in England as I trust shall never be put out.
Yeah.
Linking herself to historical martyrs.
Elevating her death into a statement. Martyrdom for ideas.
Exactly. And Beatty knows the quote, which is telling in itself. He's not ignorant, he's just chosen the other side.
But he dismisses her.
Brutally. Shut up. Strikes her face with astonishing impassivity. Just wants to know where the books are. It shows the utter dehumanization.
And Montag feels awkward, uncomfortable.
Yeah, because this isn't the usual routine. Normally the person is gone, house empty, easy burn. Her presence messes up the ritual.
She fills the emptiness with an accusatory roar, shakes out the finest dust of guilt. She's forcing them to see the human cost.
Montag feels this unbelievable rage at her, this confusion. But then, his hand. It acts on its own.
Like it has its own conscience.
Its own brain, its own conscience and curiosity. He grabs a book. Later we find out it's the Bible, Ecclesiastes.
His first conscious act of rebellion. Stealing a book.
Right in the middle of the chaos, books falling like beaten birds, firemen dancing on them, spraying kerosene. And then the woman
strikes the match herself.
Yeah. And that moment just shatters Montag's world. His old pleasure in burning, gone. He sees the suffering, the reality, feels like his hands were covered in blood.
Her sacrifice makes it real. It's not abstract anymore.
Exactly. It forces him and us to ask what idea is worth dying for. Her courage ignites something in Montag, a conscience he didn't know he had. It plants that seed of rebellion deep, a truly pivotal, unforgettable scene.
So Montag is reeling from that experience, and then he has this intense showdown with Captain Beatty back at the station.
Yeah, and Beatty, he's the chief book burner, but he launches into this long, chilling speech, rationalizing why they do it, and he's surprisingly well-read.
He uses his knowledge to justify ignorance. It's twisted.
It's absolutely twisted. It's the core ideology of the dystopia laid bare. Beatty represents that insidious kind of control, smart, articulate, justifying oppression is necessary for happiness, for social harmony.
Montag's already feeling uneasy at the station, right?
Yeah.
Seeing the other firemen as just copies of himself.
Mirror images, yeah. Black hair, black eyebrows, fiery faces. He wonders if they're picked not only by inclination, but also by external data. Like there's a fireman type.
A genetic predisposition for destruction, almost.
Kind of creepy. And he's thinking about the man whose library they just burned. And Beatty's response is ice cold.
Anyone who thinks they can outsmart the government and us is already crazy. Basically, don't even try.
No room for dissent. Then Beatty gives his history lesson, which is pure propaganda.
Claims the fire department started in 1790 to burn English books in the colonies, and Ben Franklin was the first fireman.
Complete fabrication. Rewriting history to fit the narrative. He lists the fireman rules. Speed, total destruction, always ready.
And then he explains how it all supposedly happened, how society chose this.
Right. Blames technology photos, movies, radio, TV. Says they conquered the masses, simplified everything. He argues that books created differences, but as the population grew, the world became like pudding dough.
Needing simplification, conformity, ignorance as a democratic necessity.
It's a chilling argument. He talks about knowledge compression. Classics cut down to 15-minute radio shows, then 2-minute columns, finally a dictionary entry.
Understanding Hamlet in one page.
Yeah. He calls it the intellectual movement from nursery to college and back to nursery. Infantilizing thought.
Deliberately dumbing down education. Philosophies, histories, languages thrown out, replaced by pushing buttons, tightening nuts, practical skills only.
Exactly. No room for critical thinking. And the ultimate reason for burning. Books are dangerous.
A loaded gun in the neighbor's house.
Yeah. They contain disruptive ideas. So firemen become the guardians of happiness. Official censors, judges, and executors. Their job is to eliminate anything that might make someone uncomfortable or make them think.
Maintaining universal, shallow happiness.
And he even brings up Clarice again, justifying her death.
Calls her a ticking time bomb. Says it's better for that unfortunate girl that she died.
It's unbelievably callous. His logic, if you don't want a house to be built, hide the nails and wood. Eradicate the source of thought, and you get peace.
Peace through ignorance. And it's all framed as giving people what they want. Pleasure. Thrills.
Which their culture provides in abundance. And all the while, he's subtly poking at Montag, showing he knows Montag's been thinking, questioning. He mentions fire is bright and clean, implying firemen are pure, resistant to messy ideas.
His voice is described as oily, manipulative. He's trying to talk Montag back into the fold, using logic, history, even fear.
This whole monologue is crucial. It forces you to grapple with Beatty's arguments. They're persuasive in a horrible way. How does this connect to our worries about information overload, echo chambers, seeking easy answers?
Is enforced ignorance ever the path to peace, or just delaying the inevitable explosion?
Beatty's intelligence makes him terrifying. He shows how knowledge itself can be weaponized to maintain oppression.
So, facing this onslaught of twisted logic, Montag is more disturbed than ever, and he does something really desperate. He reaches out.
Yeah, he remembers meeting this old professor, Faber, in a park about a year ago, a retired English professor.
And he seeks him out. Faber becomes this reluctant guide, a flickering light of lost knowledge.
Faber is the intellectual resistance, but he's also, admittedly, afraid. He embodies what happens when knowledge is driven underground. He gives Montag the why books matter, what their society has lost.
Montag remembers Faber being deeply scared when he realized Montag was a fireman. That fear is palpable.
Totally. It shows the danger Faber lives with daily. And Montag's first question to Faber gets right to the heart of it.
How many copies of the Bible are left?
And Faber's answer is devastating. None. Not a single one. Complete eradication of even sacred texts. Then Montag pulls out the Bible he stole.
Faber's reaction, awe, but also sadness.
Yeah. Oh, almighty God, how they've changed in our parlors. Christ has become a family member. He sees how everything profound has been trivialized, turned into shallow entertainment.
And Faber condemns himself, doesn't he? Calls himself a coward.
He does. You see before you a coward? He admits he saw it coming, the book burning, everything, and said nothing. He feels complicit.
Regrets not shouting out when there might have been others. It's a powerful contrast to Beatty, the guilt of the silent intellectual versus the certainty of the active oppressor.
Absolutely. And this leads Faber to explain the 3 key things their society is missing, the things books used to provide.
Okay, what's the first one?
First is quality of information, what he calls texture.
Texture meaning?
Meaning depth, detail, real insight into life. He says good writers touch life, while bad ones just skim the surface or worse. This texture is missing from the slick, superficial entertainment they have, the waxen, moon-like faces on the parlor walls.
It's like trying to live on imitation food instead of real nourishment.
Exactly. He uses that metaphor of flowers trying to live off other flowers instead of rain and earth. And the myth of Hercules and Antaeus, you lose your strength when you lose contact with the earth, with reality, with textured knowledge. It's about substance.
Okay, quality information. What's number 2?
Number 2 is leisure to digest information.
And this isn't just free time, right?
No, definitely not. Faber says true leisure isn't idleness. It's the time needed for thinking, for contemplation, which their society actively prevents.
With the constant distractions. Driving 100-mile-per-hour, playing games, the parlor walls.
Right. You can't argue with the TV. The parlor wall becomes reality, becomes truth. There's no space to process, to question, to form your own thoughts. It's all just incoming noise.
Quality, leisure, and the third thing.
The third is the right to act, the freedom to do something based on what you've learned from the first 2.
So knowledge plus reflection plus action.
Exactly. Without that right to act, the other 2 are basically useless. Then Faber reveals his own compromise, his electronic cowardice.
The little green ear thimble.
Yeah. He's developed this device to secretly listen in on the fireman's network from his home. Safe, but passive. He offers it to Montag.
So Faber can be the queen bee in the hive, while Montag is the drone, his wandering ear out in the world.
It's a form of resistance, yes, but born from fear. It allows him to participate without taking direct risks.
Wow. Those 3 points from Faber, they feel incredibly relevant today, don't they? Quality information, time to think, the ability to act meaningfully.
Totally. In our own world, saturated with information and distractions, how do we cultivate those things? And Faber's cowardice. It's complex. Is preserving knowledge quietly as valid as the old woman's fiery martyrdom? It suggests resistance takes many forms.
Okay, so Montag now has Faber's insights, this framework for what's wrong, and he's ready to move from just thinking to doing. He proposes a plan.
Really daring, subversive plan. Undermine the system from within. Plant books in firemen's houses, then turn them in.
Fight fire with fire, literally. Meanwhile, he has to go back to the station, face Beatty again. And Beatty engages him in this weird philosophical debate using literary quotes.
Yeah, it's another psychological attack from Beatty. This whole section shows Montag shifting into active rebellion. The plan is a huge gamble, driven by his new understanding, his anger.
And Beatty's response shows just how dangerous knowledge can be in the wrong hands. He uses the very thing he destroys as a weapon.
Absolutely. Montag's initial idea for Faber is simpler, almost naive. If books are really so valuable, we could get a printing press and print some copies.
Faber's reaction is pure shock, right? You and I? Oh, no. Too risky.
Way too risky. So the plan becomes more insidious. Plant the books, raise the alarm, watch the firemen burn their own houses, sow doubt, chaos, self-destruction within the system.
Turn the salamander back on itself.
Exactly. Faber is torn. He calls it treacherous, but you can tell he's fascinated by the idea, the image of fire stations burning across the country. He even admits he has a list of firemen's addresses.
Chilling. He's been thinking about this for a while.
Seems like it. And then Faber reveals this network. These hidden intellectuals.
The living library. Old professors, writers, historians, even actors, all memorizing books.
Yeah, forming this human repository of knowledge, the last line of defense. Their strategy is different, though. More cautious.
Just preserve knowledge, right? Not active rebellion yet. Wait for society to collapse and maybe want knowledge again.
Because if we are destroyed, knowledge dies. It sets up this tension. Montag's urge for immediate action versus their long-term preservation strategy. Both risky, both may be necessary.
Okay, so Montag goes back to the fire station, knowing all this, with Faber whispering in his ear via the earpiece. And Beatty just lays into him.
Start doing a conversation. It's psychological warfare. Beatty basically shows Montag he knows everything. He's been watching him.
And he uses quotes, literary quotes.
Constantly. Fragmented lines, philosophical jabs, all designed to confuse and intimidate Montag. Twisting meanings like saying, knowledge is not power, it's more. Mocking Bacon. claiming truth must come to light, murder cannot long be concealed, almost predicting Montag's future actions.
He calls Montag a dwarf on the shoulders of a giant, basically mocking his attempts at thinking for himself.
Exactly. Using Shakespeare, quoting the Bible out of context. In Need, the devil quotes scripture. Even using Alexander Poth to argue against literature itself, where abundance of words, there no ripeness of reason is found.
He's trying to prove that books are confusing, contradictory, ultimately useless, and that he, Beatty, understands them better than Montag ever could.
He mocks Montag's whole awakening. You've really been a drunk for a while, read a few lines, now you're ready to blow up the whole world. All while Faber is frantically whispering, don't listen, he's trying to confuse you.
Beatty even notices Montag's racing pulse. What a pulse, throbbing as if the war ended yesterday, just turning the screws. It's relentless.
This whole scene really drives home that danger of knowledge without morality. Beatty is brilliant in a terrifying way. He understands the power of these texts, but uses that understanding solely for control.
It makes you think about interpretation, right? How the same words can be used to liberate or oppress. It's a constant battle.
No wonder Montag feels sick after that encounter. He goes home, needing peace, and walks right into, well, the opposite.
Mildred and her friends, Mrs. Phelps and Mrs. Bowles, immersed in the parlor walls. It's like a concentrated dose of the society's emptiness.
It's the perfect storm of superficiality. The scene shows you exactly what Beatty is trying to protect, the ultimate result of enforced ignorance and constant entertainment.
These women are just vacant, living lives devoid of any real connection, empathy, or thought, just plugged into the walls.
Monte gets home. He's still feeling ill from the earlier events, the smell of kerosene, the memory of the old woman. He actually vomits. And Mildred, totally oblivious.
You were so funny last night, and completely denies her overdose attempt. Oh no, I would never do such a thing.
Total disconnect from reality. Her own, her husband's, then her friends arrive, ready for the White Clown Show.
And their description, monstrous glass chandeliers jingling with mad Cheshire cat smiles. It's grotesque, dehumanizing.
Of their conversation. It's unbelievable. Talking about the upcoming war, their husbands being called up with zero concern.
Mrs. Phelps just laughs it off. Oh, they come and go. He'll be back next week. Let's her husband worry.
And Mrs. Bowles chimes in, casually mentioning how husbands die in wars and how a neighbor's husband just committed suicide by jumping off a roof. Like, it's all the same level of trivial inconvenience.
Chilling indifference to life and death. And their views on children, even worse.
Horrifying. Mrs. Phelps, Lord knows no one in their right mind would have offspring, admits she basically ignores her kids, dumps them at school 9 days out of 10, compares raising them to going laundry.
No to laundry. Slam the lid. Ha ha.
Oh. And Mrs. Bowles, who actually has kids via C-section, agrees they're a catastrophe, brags about insisting on the C-sections she didn't need, even jokes about kicking her kids back when they kick her.
Just, wow. No warmth, no connection, just resentment.
And politics.
Yeah.
Just as shallow. They voted for President Noble because he looked better. Tall man. The opponent, Hogue, was short, scruffy, mumbled.
They literally judge the book by its cover and admit they just voted the same as everyone. Pure conformity.
All while the parlor walls are blaring, this constant flow of sounds and color patterns. Montag asks Mildred what the show is even about, and she can only list characters who argue often. No plot, no substance, just noise.
The scene is such a powerful critique, trading depth for distraction, technology leading to total emotional detachment, trivializing war, family, democracy, everything.
They are the pudding doughs the society Beatty talked about. And the danger of that widespread apathy is terrifying. It really makes you look at our own media consumption, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How easily we can tune out, become desensitized.
This level of emptiness finally pushes Montag over the edge. He snaps.
Yeah. This is his explosive moment of rebellion. He reveals the books, reads the poem, forces the truth on them, and it leads to chaos, betrayal, and the final confrontation.
It's unveiling.
Absolutely. His rage just boils over. Damn it, damn it, damn it. He can't stand their vacuousness anymore.
And he takes direct action, pulls the main switch on the parlor walls.
Plunges the room into silence, which is probably terrifying for them. They turn slowly, staring at him with undisguised irritation. He's interrupted their programming.
He confronts them about the war, their absent husbands, tries to force some reality on them.
And then he does it, brings out the books. A huge taboo, no less than 20 books, all colors, shapes, sizes, pulled from the ventilator grill.
Tries to explain to Mildred, almost pleadingly, I didn't really think, and now it turns out we're both involved. Still hoping maybe she'll join him.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But her reaction is pure terror. She flinches like they're a whole pack of mice, screams, tries to throw a book in the incinerator.
Montag has to physically stop her, slaps her, shakes her, begs her to listen, promises they'll burn them together if they find nothing worthwhile. He's still trying to salvage something with her.
It's desperate. Meanwhile, Faber is buzzing in his ear. Only one way out. Say you were joking. Throw the book in. Damage control.
And Mildred picks up on that instantly, comes up with that flimsy excuse. Once a year, every fireman is allowed to bring one book home. Show how foolish everything was then. Tries to frame it as a lesson in conformity.
But Montag doesn't back down. He reads the poem, Matthew Arnold's Dover Beach.
A poem about lost faith, uncertainty, a world without love or light or peace.
And it hits them. Hard. Mrs. Phelps just breaks down, uncontrollable sobbing, a raw emotional reaction that terrifies the others. Something real has broken through the noise.
But Mrs. Bowles reacts with anger, fury.
Yeah, I knew it. Wherever there's poetry, there's suicide. You are a nasty man, Mr. Montag, very nasty. Then she starts hurling insults, bringing up personal tragedies, abortions, lashing out because the truth hurts.
And Montag throws it right back at them, tells them to get out before he throws them out. The whole scene just explodes with expressed emotion.
The women flee. The illusion is shattered. Mildred retreats to the bathroom for more sleeping pills. Her ultimate escape.
And Montag realizes she's been burning his hidden books one by one. She chose her side long ago. The betrayal was already happening.
That realization must be crushing. And then, the inevitable sound. The roar of the hound outside, the blazing lights of the salamander arriving at his house. Mildred made the call.
The final betrayal. The end of his old life.
It's the emotional peak. Confronting people with truth they don't want. The poem as a weapon. Mildred's choice, showing the terrifying hold this society has. It all comes crashing down.
So the salamander is there, at Montag's house. This is it, the point of no return. What follows is violent, chaotic,
but also cathartic in a way. His confrontation with Beatty, burning his own house down, his escape. It's him finally breaking free.
Beatty steps out, just gloating, isn't he?
Oh yeah. Taunting Montag. Tried to fly near the sun and now your damn wings are burned.
Reveals he knew all along, even sent the hound earlier as a hint.
And Mildred just leaves, grabs a suitcase, her face blank, powdered, without a trace of lipstick. Erased. Whisked away in a taxi beetle. No goodbyes, nothing. Just gone. A pathetic end for her character, really.
Montag feels like his whole life was a dream made of twisted glass mirrors, shattered illusions.
And Beatty just keeps twisting the knife, quoting literature at him, calling books traitors, saying he just stirred the water for Montag, trying to break him down completely.
Then Beatty hits him, knocks the earpiece out, cuts off his connection to Faber.
Leaves him totally alone. And that's when Montag snaps, his defining act. We never burn justly, he says, and then turns the flamethrower on Beatty.
Burns him alive.
Yeah. Described graphically, Beatty writhing like a wax doll, a grotesque end for the intellectual oppressor. Montag then burns the other fireman, turns on the hound.
Which still manages to stab him in the leg, right? Even as it melts.
Yeah, injects him with the anesthetic needle, leaves him partly paralyzed, numb, a permanent mark from his old life.
His escape is painful, limping, his leg like a burnt pine log. But he still grabs the few books Mildred missed, salvaging knowledge from the wreck.
And one last act of defiance in the city. He finds Fireman Black's house.
Plants books there, calls in the alarm from a payphone, turns the system on itself.
To burn Mr. Black's house while he was at work. A moment of vengeful symmetry. Then he makes for the river, the boundary.
The symbolic cleansing. Drinks the water, submerges himself, lets the current take him.
Trying to wash away his old identity. The pursuit is relentless, though. Helicopters, another hound.
But he makes it. The river masks his scent. He changes his chemical signature. He disappears from their grid.
And the authorities. They fake his capture on TV, grab some random pedestrian to maintain the illusion of control for the masses, shows the depth of the state's manipulation.
Montag's violence, burning Beatty, his house. It's extreme, but it feels like a necessary purging, doesn't it? A total rejection of everything he was.
It's his ultimate transformation. The chase highlights that tension. Individual freedom versus state control. And the river, it's that classic symbol of rebirth. He's drifting towards a new life, washed clean.
And when he emerges from that river, exhausted, alone, he finds something completely unexpected.
He stumbles upon the book people. These exiled intellectuals, academics, living rough, but carrying civilization inside them.
Each one is a book.
Yeah. It's like a powerful, hopeful image after all the destruction. This community represents a different kind of survival for knowledge, human memory, oral tradition.
A living library.
They offer this quiet, resilient vision for the future. Montag finds them around a fire, but it's a different kind of fire.
One that warmed, that didn't burn anything.
Symbolizing a constructive relationship with fire, with knowledge. Unlike his destructive past, he meets Granger, the leader, former professors, a reverend, all outcasts.
And their method. Incredible. They read the books, then burned them for safety, but they memorized them first.
Microfilming too, but the core is internalization. We're all pieces of history, literature, international law. One guy is Plato's Republic, another is Marcus Aurelius, others are Swift, Darwin, Einstein, religious figures.
Literally embodying the wisdom of the past. Weber's idea made real.
But their philosophy is key. Humility. They insist they are no important persons, just dust jackets for books. Their role is purely preservation, not power or status.
A huge contrast to Beatty's intellectual arrogance.
Absolutely. True knowledge fosters understanding, not domination. Their plan is long-term patience.
Wait for the war. Wait for society to collapse under its own weight, to get sick of itself, and maybe, just maybe, want real knowledge again.
Like waiting for someone to recover from illness and start wondering what happened. Their organization is loose, fragmented, adaptable for survival. Some even had plastic surgery.
Whatever it takes to keep the knowledge alive. And then, they see it. The city is destroyed by the war, bombed into oblivion.
The end of the old order, witnessed from afar, making way perhaps for what they've preserved. Montag realizes this is his path now, his role in this living library, his new purpose.
It's a profound shift, from burning books to becoming one.
Despite the devastation, it's a surprisingly hopeful ending for Montag. It speaks to the endurance of ideas, the power of human memory, the potential for rebuilding meaning even after total collapse. Collective memory as the foundation for renewal.
So we followed Guy Montag all the way, from that disturbing pleasure in burning books.
And yeah, that fiery pleasure.
To the quiet, profound act of becoming a living book himself. We've seen the appeal of ignorance, the chilling way society can control thought, and that difficult, often painful journey of waking up to the truth.
One spark, one question, one defiant act at a time.
Fahrenheit 451 leaves us with some heavy questions, doesn't it? When a society burns its books, what's it really trying to erase? Just the paper, or the ability to think independently, to feel empathy, to remember.
And when it's all ashes, what's left? Who remembers how to rebuild? How to make sense of it all?
It makes you think about our own world right now. So much information, so many distractions. Are you listening now more like one of those parlor walls, just endlessly absorbing, passively entertained?
Or are you maybe more like a dust jacket for a book? Holding on to important ideas, vital experiences deep within yourself. What books are you committing to memory? Not just for you, but maybe for the future. For a time when that knowledge might be desperately needed.
Consider that quiet power. The humble act of just remembering. And patiently waiting, perhaps, for the world to want real understanding again.